something that is going to blow your mind. Each and every person here today was born disabled. That's right, when you were born, you couldn't walk or talk or see or communicate. You couldn't chew, and you wore a diaper. You didn't have control of your emotions, and things that don't scare most people, like vacuum cleaners and lemons, were terrifying. As you got older, you learned how to navigate through your world, either on feet or on wheels. You learned to see with your eyes or with your hands, and communicate with your mouth or with a Dynavox. You develop mental coping mechanisms, sometimes through medication, to regulate your emotions and not scream every time you see a fruit fly. My name is Elisa Grishman, and I am a cisgendered, pansexual white woman who just happens to not currently be abled. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2001, and since then I've been hemiplegic, I've been ambulatory, and I now use a cane, a walker, or when needed, a wheelchair. I also was an employee of Western Psych's emergency room at the time of the shooting in 2012, so I've got PTSD lumped on top of lifelong depression and anxiety. In 2015, I created an organization called Access Mob Pittsburgh, whose mission it is to increase the accessibility of the city of Pittsburgh through positive encouragement, economic incentives, advocacy, and education. Since then, I've had numerous collaborations with Carnegie Mellon University, the University of Pittsburgh, the City of Pittsburgh Department of Public City Planning, and the Golden Triangle Council for the Blind, to name just a few. In 2016, I co-ran an initiative called Ballots for Patients, which went into hospitals to get emergency absentee ballots from hospital patients. And we received wonderful media attention from WTAE, Post-Gazette, and our local NPR affiliate, WESA. I am a feminist. I am also a girlfriend, and I have a fantastic sex life. I am a woman who has friends who are other women, and I come from a long line of well-educated, powerful women, including my mom, whose PhD thesis is dedicated to me, my grandmother, who was a Jewish medical doctor in pre-World War II Germany, and my great-grandmother, who survived 2 years in a concentration camp to give me her name. But when the traditional dialogues on feminism are held, none of these things matter. When you are disabled, in the eyes of society, you lose your femininity, your sexuality, and your personality. When we are given a sexual identity, it's generally either fetishized or treated as if we were naive, sheltered beings made of glass. When we're given a gender or sexual orientation, it's as a heterosexual, cis male, or cis female. There's no gay or bisexual in disability. There are almost no positive examples in the media of transgender, non-binary, genderqueer, pansexual, asexual, kinky, slutty, femme, butch, transvestite, or feminist people with disabilities. Don't cheer that, you go boo! Individuals with disabilities do, however, have the highest rates of unemployment and underemployment, are more likely to be assaulted and or sexually abused than other marginalized groups, are as students less likely to have equitable education compared to their non-disabled peers, and are systematically denied the opportunity to be equally effective citizens, especially in regards to voting and politics. Do any of these sound familiar? They should, because those are things I hear about women over and over again. Can you imagine then what it must be like for women with disabilities? It's a bit weird for me being up here discussing feminism because I'm used to talking to student groups about why it's important to think about disability and prepare the world for when you have one. Because the longer you live, the more likely it is you will become disabled again. I generally don't even use the word disabled. I prefer currently abled and not currently abled because disability is a spectrum, and it can come as quickly as it takes to trip on a sidewalk crack and go away as completely as when you get the cast taken off. And that's a huge part of why we need to increase the inclusion of disability in the feminist dialogue, because every feminist on the planet was born disabled, can become disabled again, and whether or not that disability is permanent would want to be treated as equals to their currently able peers. So what can we do? Plenty. Make sure feminist events are held in wheelchair-accessible locations and offer Braille literature and sign language interpreters. Come to events and meetings that you think are just for people with disabilities, because that could be you one day, and it's awesome to be prepared. If you see some jagoff without a parking placard in a handicapped spot for 5 minutes to go get their coffee, go and tell them to move. Most importantly, do not be that jagoff. Did you know that the city of Pittsburgh has an office of has a disability coordinator who is part of the Department of City Planning? Check out his website, because he's got all of the events that are going on for disability meetings, this and that. I'm also going to plug my own stuff right now, because we're a great resource for people looking to become active in creating a conversation on the intersection of disability and feminism in Pittsburgh. Like our page on Facebook, it's Access Mob Pittsburgh. You can see my friend's sign up here. You can also check out our website, accessmobpittsburgh.org. And you can come grab a bite at Smallman Gallery with us on the Strip District on Tuesday, February 7th from 5 to 9. Just kind of coming and going. Sit with us, buy yourself some dinner, get a drink, have a conversation on how we can start this dialogue of feminism and disability. We're also having a phone bank for the Affordable Care Act on Monday, January 30th from 5 to 9:30 at the Panera Bread on Boulevard of the Allies.
Say that again. Everyone should come to that.
Yeah, everyone should come to this. It's, again, January 30th from 5 to 9:30. This is going national, which is kind of blowing my mind. But it's from 5 to 9:30 at the Panera Bread on Boulevard of the Allies, where people with disabilities and chronic illnesses, or those who love us, can come together to call legislators about the unique healthcare needs of our community. You can also find me during the march if you want to talk more. For those of you who can't see me because I'm down low, yellow power chair, super cripple shirt, you'll find me. I would like to give a tremendous thank you to the organizers, both for making this happen and for including disability as a needed intersection in feminist narrative. Be safe, be strong, you are powerful.